Well, hello everyone. How are you doing? Al Rattan here, along with my good friend Chris Baker, and we are in the first week of January 2023. And my friend, I am excited about what this year is going to bring. How about you?
Yeah, me too. I'm already, we finished our first ever membership group session literally just before this, and I think that's one of the reasons we decided to record straight away is because we're pumped and excited,
Yeah,
I said
yeah,
there it's already a great year. We're 2 days in, it's already a great year, and that's the
100%.
mindset that I've going into this year. How about you?
Well, I think I'm gonna live in that mindset for this year because transparency and all, folks. Chris has had to kick me in the pants a few times when I've been a little bit down and a little bit negative in 2022, and you'll probably have to do it again in 2023 because I am imperfect. Just ask my wife. That but the key is again setting that intentionality. And I saw a friend posted today, his word for today this year is living and is intentional, right? And Chris and I talked about our words for the year on our last podcast. Go back and listen. But a friend of mine said his word for this year was going to be intentional. And I think that's a great word. I'm going to set my intention to tackle this year with a state of our mindset of positivity. And because you know what, there's a lot of negativity out there in the world, folks, and what the world really needs is people like you and Chris and myself and people that are going to uplift, encourage, and share the positive in this world versus the negativity that we hear surrounding us every day.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a great point, and it brings us to something that we discussed on our first lesson tonight with our members, that a lot of people will live by the saying, "I'll believe it when I see it," right? And that to
Yeah,
me is a lack mindset, right? A scarcity mindset, because you're saying, well, in other words, you're saying, well, I'm not going to believe it until I see it,
yeah,
right? And therefore you believe that you haven't got it and it's not real until somebody proves it. What we should be saying is, I'll see it when I believe it, right? So if we
yeah,
believe and we've got that positivity, that we've got that right mental attitude that everything is going to be great, then guess what? We're going to see it because we believe it and we're living in that vibration. We're living in that harmony. And harmony is another great word that we need in our lives. We need our work and our personal life and our whatever else, right? We need everything to be in harmony, because if it's not,
right.
if anything is out of harmony, then it's going to have a negative effect on everything else, a knock-on effect.
Well, I think I will equate that to, I've had some back issues in my past and I go to the chiropractor and I get things adjusted, right? They do an adjustment. They call it an adjustment where they
Mhm.
crack your spine or your neck, right? And you're in pain. You're in pain. That's why you went to visit a chiropractor. You know, you go there, you get adjustments done, and the pain is relieved, right? And you can walk upright again. You can move your neck from left to right again. You can, expand your field of view a little bit by turning your neck versus your whole body. And I think that's a great, look at it that way. Again, the harmony in your life. If there's anything out of alignment in your life, then guess what? There's going to be pain. There's going to be
Yeah,
pain. And if you want
yeah,
to relieve that pain, you need to get things back in harmony in your life. And one of those ways
right,
to do that is to set the mindset to live with that intention of looking for the positivity, looking for the uplifting things in life, and really eliminating the negativity in your life.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
you spot on. That's one of the reasons we talk, and I know you posted over the holidays about gratitude, and we say really that every day we should be either writing or affirming, or whatever way you want to do it, but actually consciously realizing 3 to 5 things that you're grateful for,
Yeah.
right? And it
Yeah.
could just be that you're alive, right? It could be that you've got a roof over your head. It could be that you've got food on the table. It could be that you've got a loving family, a loving spouse,
Yeah.
kids,
Yeah.
whatever it is, right? We have all got multiple, many more than 5, but 3 to 5 things. Just say that every day. What are these 3 to 5 things that I am thankful for in my life? And
Right.
it could be the same every day. It could be different. But if you're
Yeah.
living in that attitude of gratitude and you're looking at everything through that positive lens, you're going to get the benefits.
Absolutely. And it's, and I want to, I know this, we're a little bit off topic of where we wanted to go tonight with this, but I just think too, the importance of, if you're living in that state of gratitude, then you're living in a state of generosity, because you're going to be giving, right? You're going to be giving others, that you're going to be giving that positivity. You're going to be uplifting. You're going to be encouraging. And
Yeah.
I think that we sometimes allow the negative, you know, news of the day to come in and distract us and
Mhm.
pull us away from. And you can't be depressed and grateful at the same time. They can't go exist together.
Correct. But it's easier to go with the negative, right? Because then we're not
So
taking
much easier.
responsibility. We blame somebody else for everything that goes wrong.
Yes,
And it only,
sir.
the other thing that was going through my mind now when you were talking about the pain, the only time we'll ever actually make a difference is when the pain is greater than the fear of the change,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Because when we want to get different results in our life, we have to change what we're doing today.
Mhm.
Right? And that
Mhm.
change can be fearful, right? And that's it's getting back onto the topic we were going to talk about of stage fright, but it's that fear, right? And so,
Yeah.
but if the pain of staying where you are is greater than the fear of making a change, then you'll make a change.
Yeah.
If the pain is less than the fear, then you'll stick with the pain and you'll go, somebody else's fault, right?
Well,
The
it's that
world's against
story of, yeah, it's that story of, the farmer sitting on his front porch with his old dog lying there beside him, and his friend comes over and they're visiting. And every once in a while, the dog goes, "Arr," right, lets out this howl. And the neighbor goes like, "Is there something wrong with your dog?" He goes, "Oh, there's a nail sticking out of the porch there." Um, and the neighbor goes, "Well, why doesn't he move?" And the farmer, "He doesn't hurt enough yet." Right.
Yeah,
And it's like,
exactly.
how much of us are in that? It's uncomfortable, right? So we're not stepping out of or away from that discomfort, because it's not
Yeah,
uncomfortable enough yet.
right.
I want to challenge you tonight to step out of that comfort zone.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
back
for
on
sure.
track.
Yeah, and really the we wanted to talk again a little bit about like anxiety and excitement and how they're actually the same emotion. The difference is how we perceive it, right? So what do we believe? Do we believe that a situation we go into is going to cause us anxiety, or is it going to cause us excitement? And stage fright is a prime example. Right? A
Right.
lot of performers will get stage fright before they go on stage, and some of
Hmm.
them, it paralyzes them, can't go on. Others actually thrive on it, and they go on and they then perform and do a fantastic job.
Right.
And stage fright or performance anxiety is a state of anxiety or fear which occurs when an individual is faced with the requirement of performing in front of an audience. In other words, they've got that doubt, right? They've got that doubt as to, are they good enough?
Yeah. And this may
Are
not
they
doesn't
good?
necessarily mean to be this doesn't necessarily mean to need to be an audience like in, Carnegie Hall or something like this. This could be standing up in front of your team. This could be
Right.
giving a presentation to your clients, right?
Yeah.
That stage fright, that anxiety builds and that fear overcomes you
Yeah.
when you need to get up and speak in front of others.
Yeah. And do you know what? I mean, put it on a personal level. It could be to do with your spouse or your kids,
Yeah. Dealing
right?
with a difficult situation with your spouse or your kids,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the net result of this is if people can't overcome this and they give in to the fear instead of making it the excitement, they give in to the anxiety. It causes people to leave school, leave a job, maybe leave their spouse. all right, to isolate their kids, whatever, right? Because they don't address it. Well, again, that pain has got to be greater than the fear, and
Yes.
then you'll do something about it.
Yes.
And it comes down to negative perceptions, right? Negative perceptions, beliefs, thoughts, images, predictions that are all programmed in our subconscious mind from what we've seen, heard, or experienced in the past. But the past is passed on. It's gone, right? That's why it's the
Mm-hmm.
past,
Mm-hmm.
right? We're in the present. The present is a gift that keeps on giving. So we need to live in that, and we need to reprogram our minds to think about it in a positive way. And that's how we'll overcome these things. So there's a couple of points that the Anxiety and Depression Association of America shared out that are feelings that can help overcome this. Let's we'll go a couple of these and just share those with the folks. All right.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
The first one, I'll do the first one. It's to
Yeah,
shift
please.
the focus from yourself and your fear to remember your true purpose. All right.
Yeah,
Now,
that's a
again,
good
if you
one.
followed Al and I for a while, you know we talk about true purpose a lot. We talk about your why or your purpose, whatever it is. And here's the thing: if you are focusing on yourself and your fear, that's what's going to be top of mind, right? Because that's where your focus is, your energy will go. If you switch that focus to what is your purpose in life, why do you exist? Why is that important? Then your energy will flow to that, and guess what? Your fear will disappear, or it will at
Yeah.
least diminish,
Yeah.
right? So you can
It's true.
move forward.
Yeah, and I shared the story in our membership program tonight about, when I was in high school, like I would skip school or take a failing grade if I had to stand up in front of the class and give an oral presentation. I was terrified to speak in
Mm,
public, right? And now here's something I didn't share though, but when the change started to happen, when in grade 12, I finally said to myself, you know what? I'm leaving high school, you know, I need to do something. And I got the courage and very timidly, and I don't know how I got the part, but I walked up to the drama teacher in the hall one day and I said, Mr. Holt, do you have any parts left in the play? And couldn't do it today, folks, probably because you get sued or something, but he grabbed me by my shirt, pulled me in closer to him and said, you're Freddie, be in there, and pointed to the auditorium, be in there at 7 o'clock tonight for rehearsal. That was my audition. And I became Freddie in the play, and it was a blast. I was terrified. I was terrified. But my goodness, the fond memories, the relationships built, the girlfriend I got by being in that play
yeah.
back in 1987 changed my life, right? What
Mhm.
would have happened if I hadn't done that, right?
Right.
So here's our second point. Stop scaring yourself about thoughts about what might go wrong. You know what? A
Hmm.
couple of things went wrong during that play. One thing, I was on stage with the girl. We had dialogue back and forth, and she said the wrong line out of order. And my mind went blank. And it felt like an eternity of me whispering to her, I don't remember my next line. Help me out. Right? Like it was panic. But we picked up and we had to kiss and then walk off stage. So I kissed her and walked off stage.
Yeah.
But anyways, that was the fear, what could go wrong? Well, that was a pretty big thing to go wrong. Forgetting your line on
Yeah.
stage, live studio audience, right? But, instead, part two of that is instead focus your attention on thoughts and images that are calming and reassuring, right? So we carried on, right? We had fun. We let it go.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. How many times?
calm and reassuring thoughts. It's going to go fine tonight. We're not going to say our lines
Yeah.
out of order. We're going to do this right tonight.
And you know what? If it does, you knew that you could adapt, right? Because you
Exactly.
had it. And
Exactly.
that's what you hear too often is people say, "Well, I don't want to do this because what if it goes wrong?
Yeah.
Well, what if it
What
goes
if it goes
right?"
right? Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
And so you
Exactly.
won't know if you don't try.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
good.
Uh, yeah. And that's right. You're scaring that. And really, they talk about refusing to think thoughts that create self-doubt and low confidence. We know that lack of self-esteem and low confidence is a big with teenagers, but also with adults. Right? I had that. I had that for the longest time. All right, but I overcome that. I overcame that because I started talking about things that were to do with my purpose. Right, so that
Right.
gave me that confidence, gave me that thing that I enjoyed what I was talking about, and therefore I got reasonably good at it. Right, I'm not perfect, but I talk from the heart and I do it, and I think the emotions come that Al, we both believe in what we're doing.
Right.
Right, we're
Right.
genuine. Yeah.
And you know, and that's really the thing, right? We we don't have to do this, but we want to do this, right? We
Right.
want to. We love doing this. We love serving others. Another point that they talk about though is practicing ways to calm and relax your mind and body, right? So, and again, I heard a speaker do this once and I stole it from him. I do it all the time now. If I make a big mistake when I'm doing a presentation, like, oh, that was mistake number 1. That was pretty good. If I make 3, we'll just
Yeah.
call it a day and go home, right? That's just that's it, relaxes you, relaxes the audience. But now what I do before I go on stage for something, when I'm doing a workshop or presentation, or even before we go live here, right? I'm thinking to myself, right? A little deep breath, relax. Maybe you need to do some exercise or some yoga or meditation or prayer, whatever works for you to help calm yourself and focus yourself on what you need to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's visualizing success. Right. So it's seeing it, you know, I play golf, and a lot of things that you'll see when professionals they talk about visualizing the shot, right? So as they're getting up to swing, they're already visualizing where they're going to go and it landing on the green or it landing on the fairway. Right now, does
Yeah.
it happen every? But more times than often it does because they're visualizing the success. If they
Right.
walk up there and they see a lake and they visualize it going in the lake, then guess what? It's probably going to go in the lake.
Probably.
Right. So visualize success, focus on your strengths to handle the challenging situations. So like Al, like you with that play, right? You handled that challenging situation.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
That's
then
good.
lastly, lastly is the one that perfect because we give up trying to perfect. There is no,
Yeah.
with our podcast here, we don't write a script. We come up and we say, what do we want to talk about? And then we go. And like Al said earlier, we'd go off on tangents. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter because what we're doing is we're working from our hearts, right? We make
Right.
mistakes, but it's okay to make mistakes as long as you learn from them and then you grow. In fact, I would
And you know
say
what?
essential.
Yeah. And you know what? Chris and I are part of the Maxwell leadership team, and Roddy Galbraith, who's a great guy and a mentor, and our speaker trainer, you know, and John Maxwell, who is our mentor, right? Be natural, be yourself. You're going to connect
Yeah,
better with people if you're just be you. Don't put on the
right.
masks. Don't put on the show. Talk, share from the heart, be vulnerable, share stories, share examples, do some teaching, but just be yourself, connect with people. You're going to connect better with people if you're just be you. Unless you're
Yeah,
obnoxious, then you're probably not going to connect with people, but don't be that person.
right. Right. Yeah, and I think that's great. We've shared a lot tonight, right? In what 19 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think that the challenge we want to leave you guys this week is think about your 2023. What are you expecting for 2023?
Hmm.
And then stage further, and how are you going to make that come true? Unless you're expecting bad, in which case you want to flip your mindset and say, well, how can I make it? Right, but do it now. Right, we're
Yeah.
in the by the time this goes out will be the 6th of January. So we're at the end of the first week of January. You don't want to keep leaving it any longer.
No.
Probably 50% of New Year's resolutions will already be gone, right? Because they
Hmm.
didn't mean enough to you. So what are you going to do What's 23 going to look like for you, and what are you going to do to make your best year ever?
Amazing. Amazing. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We appreciate you. Please share this podcast with friends and family, anybody else who may find value in it, and connect with us on
Yeah,
social media. Chris Baker, Al Rattan,
yeah,
and we'll talk to you next week. Have an amazing weekend.
perfect.